Something is shifting. You can feel it, can't you? The world around you doesn't feel the same. The air is heavy with an energy that wasn't there before. Time feels strange, like it's bending, slipping through your fingers, warping reality itself. And deep down, you know this isn't your imagination. March 21st to 31st isn't just another period on the calendar. It's a threshold, a moment in time where something unseen is pushing through. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but if you're paying attention, you can sense it. Some are already experiencing it. Sleepless nights, vivid dreams, an eerie sense of déjà vu that lingers longer than it should. Others are dismissing it, brushing it off as just another passing phase. But that's the mistake, because this time, it's different. This time, the universe isn't whispering, it's shouting. The unfolding shift. There are forces at play that most people never notice. Shifts in energy, ripples in the unseen fabric of reality. But every once in a while, something happens that even the most unaware souls can feel. A pressure in the air, an unshakable feeling that something is coming. This is one of those times. It doesn't matter where you are, what you believe, or how much you try to ignore it. When the energy moves, it touches everything. And this, what's happening between March 21st to 31st, is unlike anything you've felt before. It's not a warning of fear. It's a signal, a call, a shift that will separate those who are awake from those who remain blind. Some will dismiss it, some will sense it, but choose to look away. But you're here. And that means you were meant to know. The clock is already ticking. By tomorrow, the first ripple will already be in motion. The question is, are you ready? A mysterious energy shift begins. What's so different about March 21st to 31st? Something is shifting, and even if you can't quite put your finger on it, you can feel it. The air itself carries an unexplainable weight, pressing against you like an unseen force. It's not fear, not exactly. It's more like a silent anticipation, a sense that something just beyond your perception is stirring. People glance around more often, sensing an odd stillness in familiar spaces, as if the world is holding its breath. Conversations feel different, emotions run deeper, and even those who don't believe in energy shifts can't deny that something feels off. Time no longer moves the way it once did. Hours seem to vanish without explanation, yet certain moments stretch endlessly, as if reality itself is bending. Some people are waking up in the morning feeling as though days have passed overnight, while others find themselves trapped in repetitive loops, encountering the same conversations, the same events, over and over. It's as if the very fabric of time is unraveling, forcing a shift that is impossible to ignore. There's a growing urgency, a sense that something is approaching faster than it should be. But what? Nature, always attuned to shifts in the unseen, is reacting in ways that defy explanation. Birds change their flight patterns unexpectedly, flocks moving in chaotic formations that break all natural rhythm. Animals that typically follow seasonal migrations appear restless, as if responding to an invisible pull. In certain areas, people have reported strange disturbances in the sky. Clouds that seem to ripple unnaturally, unexplained pulses of light, and a deepening glow to the stars. These are not ordinary occurrences. They are signals, messages hidden in plain sight for those who are paying attention. And then there are the symptoms, odd, fleeting sensations that come and go without warning. A sudden wave of dizziness, a feeling of displacement, as if you momentarily stepped into another version of reality. Some people describe moments where their surroundings feel unreal, almost dreamlike, as if they are observing the world from a step outside of time. Others experience sudden exhaustion, as though their body is struggling to keep up with the rapid shifts happening beneath the surface. These are not mere coincidences. They are the body's way of adapting to an energy beyond the physical. Perhaps the strangest part of it all is the feeling of finality in the air, like something that has been in motion for a long time is finally reaching its destination. Ancient prophecies spoke of cycles, of energies that come and go in waves, reshaping the world in their wake. Those who have studied these patterns understand that what is happening now is not random. It is the closing of a chapter, a karmic reset that was always meant to arrive. What happens next is uncertain, but one thing is clear. This is not just another shift. This is something far greater. The first shockwaves, unseen forces, already moving behind the scenes. Something unseen is already in motion, shaping the world in ways most cannot perceive. It is subtle, but undeniable, a force working beneath the surface, orchestrating events with a precision that defies. This shift isn't just about what's happening in the physical world. It is deeply tied to celestial movements, hidden alignments that have been written into the stars long before this moment arrived. The positioning of planetary bodies has reached a point where an energetic gateway is opening. It is not something visible to the eye, but it can be felt. A pull, a pressure, an inexplicable sense that space itself is bending in response. Those sensitive to energy will experience it first, a growing awareness that something beyond human understanding is aligning, unlocking a passageway for forces that have been waiting for this exact moment to emerge. At the same time, Earth's protective field is shifting. The planet's magnetic shield, which guards against cosmic radiation and unseen interferences, is fluctuating in unpredictable ways. Scientists may call it an anomaly, but this disturbance is far more than a random occurrence. It is affecting not just the Earth itself, but everything within it, including the human mind. People may begin to experience waves of disorientation, mood swings, and even sudden bursts of insight as their consciousness attempts to adapt to the shifting field. Sleep patterns may become erratic, and some will feel an unshakable sense of being disconnected from time and space, as if reality is thinning. Even technology, which relies on stability within these unseen forces, will not be immune. Expect unexpected disruptions, electronic malfunctions, lost signals, unexplained power fluctuations. But what is most concerning is the invisible noise that is creeping into the world. Frequencies that distort perception, cloud judgment, and create a veil between what is real and what is illusion. Many will find themselves trapped in mental fog, struggling to focus as if their very thoughts are being interfered with. Others may notice strange occurrences, hearing unfamiliar sounds, high-pitched ringing in their ears, whispers in the silence that seem to come from nowhere. These distortions are not random. They are intentional disruptions designed to keep humanity from seeing what is truly unfolding. Some will dismiss them as mere side effects of stress or fatigue, but those who understand energy will recognize them for what they are, an attempt to manipulate awareness, to dull intuition at a time when clarity is needed most. And so, the battle begins, a silent war playing out beyond what the eyes can see. Forces of light and shadow are colliding, each trying to tip the scales in their favor. This is not about physical warfare, but rather a battle for perception, for belief, for control over the collective human mind. Those attuned to the shift will sense it, the growing tension, the sudden waves of negativity that do not feel like their own, the unseen hands trying to steer humanity toward confusion and division. Every thought, every choice now carries weight, as the energies seek to sway human consciousness in a direction that benefits them. By March 22nd, the first wave of the shift will strike. The very structure of reality may begin to feel different, as if the unseen forces pressing against the world are no longer holding back. Those who have ignored the signs will suddenly find themselves questioning everything. Nothing will feel quite the same anymore. Time slips, reality glitches, and the Mandela effect, intensifying. Something strange is happening, and it's not just imagination. People are beginning to notice gaps in time, moments that simply vanish, leaving them disoriented and unsure of what just happened. It's becoming more frequent, more noticeable. Someone might glance at the clock, go about their usual tasks, and look back only to realize that hours have passed in what felt like minutes. Others experience the opposite, long stretches of time where nothing seems to move forward, as if reality itself has stalled. These are not mere lapses in attention. They are distortions in the very fabric of time, anomalies that have been increasing as the unseen forces at play continue to disrupt what was once stable. And then there are the small but unsettling changes, details in the world that suddenly seem different, as if reality is shifting in real time. A familiar book title isn't quite what it used to be. A well-known logo now has an extra letter, or a phrase people have repeated for years is suddenly different from what they remember. These subtle shifts trigger a sense of unease, a nagging feeling that something isn't right. Some call it the Mandela effect, a collective memory discrepancy where entire groups of people recall an event or detail differently than what now exists. But is it just a trick of the mind, or is something more profound happening? The increasing number of these alterations suggests that reality itself may be in flux, rewriting itself in small but undeniable ways. For those paying close attention, reality feels slightly out of sync, like a mirror image of itself, but not quite right. Numbers appear reversed on clocks and screens. Conversations seem to replay themselves, and sometimes people swear they've heard or seen something before, even though it hasn't happened yet. This mirror reality effect is becoming more widespread, making it harder for people to distinguish between what is real and what has shifted. It's as if the boundaries between alternate versions of reality are growing thinner, causing brief overlaps where two timelines momentarily bleed into one another. These distortions create a sense of déjà vu, but stronger than ever before, as if reality is looping in on itself in ways that weren't meant to happen. But perhaps the most disturbing anomaly is the two-sunset effect, a phenomenon where people report seeing double shadows, strange solar positioning, or even what appears to be two suns in the sky. While it may seem like an optical illusion, these occurrences align with ancient prophecies that spoke of a time when the veil between dimensions would weaken. Shadows appear where they shouldn't be. The sun seems to linger longer than it should, and in some cases, people report seeing a faint, glowing orb near the horizon, as if something is trying to push through the fabric of our reality. These glitches are not random. They are messages, warnings coded into the structure of existence. The distortions are increasing because something is pressing against the boundaries of our dimension, trying to break through. Those who are aware will notice the signs. Reality is shifting, and the changes are no longer just coincidences. March 25th. The energy divide begins. A separation of timelines. Something is changing, and it's becoming impossible to ignore. March 25th marks the point where reality itself starts to divide, pulling people onto different paths based on their awareness, energy, and choices. It's as if an invisible force is drawing a line, creating two distinct experiences of the same world. Some will begin to feel an unshakable sense of clarity, a deep knowing that something profound is happening. These individuals will feel more connected, more in tune with their intuition, and will notice synchronicities guiding them forward. But others will experience the opposite: confusion, anxiety, and an unexplainable feeling of being lost will take over. They may feel as if they are walking through a fog, disconnected from their surroundings, struggling to make sense of what is happening. The same event may occur, yet two people standing side by side will experience it entirely differently. This is not just perception, it is the start of the energy divide. One of the most noticeable effects will be how quickly thoughts start shaping reality. What once took weeks or months to manifest will now unfold in mere moments. A fleeting worry could materialize into an obstacle, while a hopeful vision could instantly open doors. Those who are mindful of their intentions will begin to see their desires take form effortlessly. March 25th marks a turning point, a moment where reality starts to feel less stable, as if unseen forces are pulling it in different directions. A quiet but undeniable divide is forming, separating people into two distinct groups. Those who embrace the shift will feel a newfound clarity, an unshakable sense that they are exactly where they need to be. Their intuition will sharpen, guiding them toward opportunities and synchronicities that seem too perfect to be coincidences. Meanwhile, others will experience growing confusion, a creeping sense of being lost in their own lives. They may struggle with unexplained anxiety, feel disconnected from the world around them, or even question their own memories. It's as if reality itself is sorting people based on their energy, subtly but unmistakably leading them down separate paths. One of the most immediate and startling effects of this shift is the acceleration of manifestation. Thoughts no longer linger in the realm of possibility. They become reality faster than ever before. A single moment of focus can shape the future in an instant. People will begin to notice that their emotions directly influence their surroundings. Joy, fear, hope, and doubt will all leave immediate imprints on the world, turning personal energy into a force that bends reality. Those who understand this will learn to wield their thoughts like tools, crafting the future with intention. But for those who remain unaware, it will feel like life is spinning out of control, as if chaos is unfolding at an unnatural speed. As the energy shifts, people's behavior will become increasingly unpredictable. Some will seem emotionally detached, as if their minds are elsewhere, drifting between realities. Others may act out in uncharacteristic ways, frustration turning into sudden outbursts, sadness transforming into unexpected numbness. Conversations that once flowed naturally will feel strained, like two frequencies struggling to sync. It will be difficult to explain, but unmistakable to those who pay attention. The people around them are not entirely present. It's as if parts of their consciousness are slipping between worlds, caught in the widening gap between timelines. Even memory will not be immune to these distortions. Sudden resets will begin to occur, where people forget entire conversations that happened just hours before. Some may recall events differently, as if their past is being rewritten in real time. It won't just be small lapses in memory. It will feel like fragments of reality itself are slipping through the cracks. A person may recall a promise that was never made, or an event that no one else remembers. These strange inconsistencies will create a sense of unease, as if reality is no longer a fixed and stable structure, but a shifting, fluid experience. By this point, the first clear signs of timeline splitting will be undeniable. For some, reality will seem increasingly bright, filled with unexpected breakthroughs and effortless alignment. For others, it will feel fractured, confusing, and unstable, as if multiple possibilities are overlapping at once. The world will no longer seem to operate under one unified experience. Two distinct realities will exist side by side, though not everyone will realize it. Those who are aware will begin to see it happening in real time. The moment when the great divide between timelines truly begins. The March 27th. Trigger event: a sudden celestial or earthly shock. March 27th marks a day when the unseen forces moving beneath the surface finally make themselves known. Something will shift in the skies, something that defies explanation and cannot be ignored. Whether it's an unusual celestial event, an unknown object appearing where nothing should be, or a strange light cutting through the darkness, the sky will bear witness to something significant. It may be subtle at first, an unexpected flicker, an unexplainable glow, a strange movement in the clouds. But for those paying attention, it will be the sign that everything is reaching a critical point. The feeling of unease that has been building will solidify into something undeniable. This is the moment when the atmosphere itself will change, carrying an energy that is both mesmerizing and unsettling. At the same time, a magnetic anomaly will spike across the planet, disrupting Earth's natural balance. Scientists will attempt to explain it, attributing it to solar activity, shifting poles, or a momentary fluctuation in the planet's magnetic field. But what they cannot explain is why this energy will feel so deeply personal to those attuned to the shift. Some may experience sudden dizziness, an unshakable ringing in the ears, or the overwhelming sensation that the ground beneath them is subtly shifting, as if reality itself is recalibrating. Electronics may act strangely, power fluctuations could occur in unexpected places, and even time may feel distorted, speeding up or slowing down in ways that make no logical sense. This is not just another cosmic event. This is a warning, a ripple in the energetic fabric of existence. Then comes the silent hour, a moment where everything feels unnaturally still, as if the entire world is holding its breath. Conversations may pause without reason, the air itself may feel heavier, and an eerie quiet may settle even in normally noisy environments. It will be the kind of stillness that is felt more than heard, a sensation that something just beyond perception is making itself known. It will be in this moment that many will feel an overwhelming sense of déjà vu, as if they have lived through this exact moment before. Time will seem to pause, thoughts will seem to slow, and for those who are deeply in tune, it will feel as if something invisible has just shifted the course of history. Animals will sense it before humans do. Their instincts will react to something beyond our comprehension, triggering sudden migrations, erratic movements, or unexplained distress. Birds may suddenly change direction mid-flight. Pets may act restless or stare at empty spaces as if seeing something that humans cannot. Wild animals may behave strangely, moving into areas they usually avoid or suddenly falling silent where they are typically vocal. This is the kind of shift that animals have been attuned to for centuries, the kind that signals an impending event, something so profound that nature itself cannot ignore it. And then comes the final moment, the instant where the window narrows, and what follows cannot be undone. Whatever happens after this event will be set into motion permanently, like a door slamming shut on one timeline and opening onto another. Those who have been preparing, watching and sensing the shift will know that this is the point of no return. The energy will feel heavier, denser, as if the entire world has just taken a collective step into something unknown. For some, this will be a moment of clarity, a realization that everything they have felt leading up to this was real. For others, it will be the start of confusion, an unshakable feeling that something is different, but with no way to explain why. But by then, the shift will have already begun, and there will be no turning back. March 29th to 31st, the final days of the portal, a moment of no return. As March nears its final days, a strange and almost dreamlike quality settles over reality. Time will no longer feel solid. Moments will either stretch endlessly or vanish in the blink of an eye. Some will feel as though they are floating through their daily routines, watching life unfold as if through a screen, disconnected from the normal sense of time and space. Others may experience heightened awareness, as if every detail around them is glowing with significance. The air itself may feel heavy, charged with something unexplainable, like the world is bracing for something unseen. Conversations may seem slower. Thoughts may take on an unusual clarity, and people may begin to sense that they are existing in a space between two realities, one that is fading and one that is still forming. Then, as if on cue, a message will reach the collective, a final call that cannot be ignored. This message could manifest in different ways. For some, it may come through technology, a sudden worldwide broadcast, an unexplainable signal, or an event so powerful that it captures the attention of millions at once. For others, it may be deeply personal, a vision, a whispered realization, a sign that only they understand. It will not be loud or forceful, but it will be undeniable. The world will seem to hold its breath as something clicks into place, a realization that has been building for weeks, months, or even years. Those who are awake will know exactly what it means, while others may feel a sense of unease without knowing why. At this same moment, an old structure will collapse, something that has stood for generations, but can no longer sustain itself in this shifting reality. Whether it is political, financial, or institutional, its downfall will send ripples across the world. Some will see it as chaos, others as liberation, but no one will be able to deny that something fundamental has just changed. This will not be a slow, gradual breakdown. It will happen suddenly, like a tower crumbling in an instant. The illusion of stability will shatter, revealing what has always been beneath. A system that was built to hold power, now crumbling under the weight of its own deception. Those who have relied on it will feel lost, while those who have sensed its fall will know that this is only the beginning. And then something even stranger will occur, a mysterious synchronization across the world. Many will report experiencing identical dreams, as if their minds have tapped into the same unseen current. People who have never met will share visions, insights, or even the same words spoken in different corners of the world. It will be as if an invisible thread is weaving together those who are ready, aligning them for what comes next. This will not be mere coincidence. It will be a sign that the separation between the seen and the unseen is thinning, that the collective mind is shifting towards something greater. For some, this will be exhilarating. For others, it will be overwhelming, an undeniable confirmation that reality is no longer what they thought it was. And then, as the final hours of March slip away, the last and most important moment will arrive, the moment of choice. By now, every soul will feel the shift, whether they understand it or not. The old world will still be there, calling back those who fear change, while the new world will be just within reach for those who are ready to embrace it. There will be no announcement, no clear instruction, only a quiet understanding deep within. The path ahead will be different for everyone, but one thing will be certain. After these final days, nothing will ever be the same again. The aftermath. What will April 1st reveal that was hidden? As April 1st arrives, the air itself will feel different. Something about the world, though difficult to describe, will seem permanently changed. For some, it will be an overwhelming sense that a veil has been lifted, as if reality has shifted ever so slightly, yet undeniably. Colors may appear sharper, sounds more vibrant, and emotions more intense. Others may feel disoriented, sensing that something fundamental has altered, though they cannot quite put their finger on what it is. Conversations may carry a strange weight, as if unseen forces are guiding words in a direction no one expected. Even the most mundane interactions will seem to carry an undercurrent of something deeper, something hidden, now surfacing into the light. And then, an unexpected truth emerges, one that has been buried for decades, maybe even longer. It could come in the form of a long-suppressed revelation, a hidden piece of history that suddenly finds its way into public consciousness. Perhaps a document, a long-lost recording, or a confession by someone who can no longer carry the burden of secrecy. Whatever it is, it will send shockwaves through those who hear it. For some, it will be a validation of what they have always suspected. For others, it will be too much to accept, forcing them to question everything they believed was real. Those in power may try to suppress it, downplay it, or dismiss it entirely, but the timing of this revelation is no accident. It will arrive at precisely the moment when people are ready to see it, whether they want to or not. Even more astonishing will be the mass awakenings happening in the most unlikely places. Those who once laughed at the idea of energetic shifts, who dismissed all talk of unseen forces as superstition, will suddenly find themselves experiencing their own undeniable moments of realization. Perhaps it will be a vivid dream that feels more real than waking life, a synchronicity so perfect that it defies coincidence, or a personal event that forces them to rethink everything. They will try to explain it rationally, to brush it off as mere imagination, but deep down, they will know something has changed. For the first time, they will understand what so many have been sensing all along, that reality is not as solid as they once believed. And then, without warning, an unexplainable event will shake the population. It may not be something immediately dramatic or catastrophic, yet its impact will be felt by all. Some will notice it right away, a strange shift in the skies, an unexpected celestial movement, or an anomaly that defies logic. Others will only sense it in the coming days, feeling as if an invisible force has reshaped the world in ways they cannot yet grasp. News sources may struggle to report on it, unable to find the right words, and many will feel an instinctive sense that whatever has happened was meant to happen. Those who have been watching closely will understand. The shift is complete. The countdown has ended. The world that once was will never be the same again. Why this warning had to reach you before March the 21st? If this message has reached you, it is not by accident. You were meant to hear it. Whether through a random scroll, a sudden intuition, or a feeling that you were guided here, this warning has come at exactly the right moment. Something deep within you may have already sensed that March 21st is not just another date on the calendar. It marks the beginning of a shift, one that has been building, unseen, yet undeniable. This moment is not about fear, but about awareness. And awareness changes everything. Once you know what is happening, you can no longer unknow it. You become a part of it. You are already part of the shift. What happens next depends on how you choose to perceive it. Your awareness determines your reality in ways that most have yet to realize. When energy shifts on such a grand scale, those who are prepared will recognize it, while those who are unaware will be swept along without understanding why things suddenly feel different. By knowing, you have the power to align with it instead of resisting it. Resistance will bring confusion, frustration, and fear. But alignment, that is where clarity, strength, and transformation lie. Some will cling desperately to the old, pretending nothing is changing. Others will embrace the shift and step forward, understanding that the only way through is to move with the flow, not against it. Many will ask, when will things return to normal? But the truth is, there is no going back to normal. The very concept of normal is dissolving. The life that existed before this moment will not return. Not in the way people expect. Time itself is shifting. Reality is bending. And the illusions that once held everything together are fading. This does not mean destruction, but rather evolution. The changes will not happen all at once, but they will be undeniable. Those who insist on clinging to the old ways will feel increasingly disconnected, as if they are grasping at something that is no longer solid. Those who open themselves to what is coming will find new paths appearing where none existed before. The world is not ending. It is transforming. This is not about fear. It never was. It is about choice. The energies arriving are neither good nor bad. They simply are. How they affect you will depend on what you do with them. Imagine standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to deeper understanding, empowerment, and alignment with the universe's unfolding plan. The other leads to confusion, resistance, and a desperate attempt to hold on to something that is already slipping away. The choice is not being forced upon you. It is simply being revealed, and once you see it, you cannot ignore it. The universe has already set this in motion. The shift is not something that might happen, it is already happening. The signs have been there for those willing to see. The energy has been building, growing stronger with each passing day. Now, the moment has arrived. What comes next is no longer in the hands of fate. It is in your hands. This is why you were meant to hear this message before March 21st.